be.
Hey, everybody, welcome. Listen,
but yet,
Dennis Hallis.
There's just not a lot of evidence right now, and so I'm anxious to get back with him and work with him because I think there's a talented player there. And hopefully I'm anxious to get back with him and work with him because I think there's a talented player there. And I'm anxious to get back with him and work with him because I think there's a talented player there. Look, it's hard to really say. I mean, everybody wants to kind of compare this draft to other drafts and where's it deep, where's it not deep. You know, the honest to God's truth is you're not going to know until 3 years from now really how good it was, because it's not until they get in and start playing that you kind of realize exactly what you have. So I do know that I feel like the numbers are maybe a little bit more. And I feel like really you're probably looking at some guys maybe in years past that might have been, late round draft choice that might be, available as college free agents. How's it going?
Very random question for you, but there's been a lot of big time player movement this offseason, honestly. A lot of it is related to players sort of, this is not a question about your team, a lot of it is players sort of exercising their power and, leveraging and so forth. What do you think about that? It's more of an NBA sort of deal that we've seen more. So in this league, do you think that is just isolated to just those rare players who can exert that kind of stuff? That'll be more of a
Look, I haven't really put a whole lot of thought into it other than, we've had free agency in the NFL for a long time, and it's part of the business of pro football, and certainly there's times when the player has the leverage, and then I think there's times when the team has the leverage, and I think just like any other business, when you have the leverage, you want to utilize it to your benefit. So I just think it's business. All good, guys? Okay, man. Appreciate it.
Okay, folks, that was the tail end of Dennis Allen, the Saints talk. And I shut up midway. They started at 8. Welcome to the show, because what we're going to do is pan around and see basically who did what or who said what. And good morning here. But I think the biggest news there, and we'll go back and see if we can catch the rest, but the biggest news with that, let me see if I can go back here.
What's up, Giants fans, Hub watchers, YouTube and Rumble subscribers, Twitter, and
see if I can refresh that. That's already up.
I think that's something that we continue to hash out. I think we move on.
Okay, so anyway, that's Dennis Allen. I'm going to circle back to Dennis Allen, say welcome to everybody, enlarge my screen so that it's bigger. Hi, everybody. And then see what else is going on around the room. Dennis Allen just finished. Didn't say much. I don't know if he didn't say much because I couldn't see the surroundings. Maybe there were a handful of people. I'm not sure, but whatever reason, he talked a little bit, and then finished at a roughly 8:17. 8:17. So let's see what's going on around the rest of the NFL annual meeting that we can capture. And go forward. I'm going to start with what is currently out there, including my tweet just now. And let me put that in the area so that you can get some idea. Stop the screen over there and then share the Twitter screen over here. There's a Twitter screen right there. Boom. Okay. And I managed to get a good chunk of the Dennis Allen meeting. Again, like I said, I'm going to turn right back to it later. But in the interim, I'm going to enlarge this. Zoom in and zoom in. There. Under NFL annual meeting. Some of it can be under team names, like Saints, for example. This one says NFL owners are to consider the two proposals to modify the overtime format, which you know about if you followed as NA62 on YouTube or bookmark Oakland News Now, blog.com, and could take a vote today before they expect the conclusion of the NFL annual meeting. Actually, the league meeting is to conclude Wednesday, but in terms from the perspective of most of the press, these coaches meetings here are the last of their kind. There's not going to be another crack at the AFC or the NFC. The reception was last night. Here we are. Okay. And then of course, Brian McCarthy discussed the fact that Detroit is the 2024 destination of the NFL draft. We don't see anywhere near as many under NFL meeting tweets or information. So let's just go by teams. The NFC teams are, for example, the Packers. Let's try Packers, like here. And going down here, we've got LaFleur. I'm looking for video that may have been posted regarding LaFleur. He wrapped up his media session just a minute ago. Seems like they all started a little faster this time, or maybe I just am a little later. It could be that I'm later. Sorry about that, folks. Late night. Let me go to the route of photo, and so that I can get a Packers. There's Matt LaFleur. That says March 22nd. I'm sorry. That's March 21st. I'm doing this for Packers, so as you can tell, there isn't much to go by. Okay. So we will try, other than just the Packers, how about hashtag Packers? Like so. Hashtag Packers, right? There we go. That's better. Matt LaFleur said he got the text message that Aaron Rodgers was coming back while an offseason meeting, darted out of the room in excitement. And real ones remember when Mason Crosby forced a fumble. Let's see here. Those are photos. Latest. See if we can find some commentary here. And apparently 24 minutes ago, Jason Wolf reports that at Lambeau, Packers president, CEO Mark Murphy, who's a great guy, I met him in Miami, said, quote, "At Lambeau, we've talked about putting a dome on it. It's not feasible financially, and it's really part of our aura or reputation is playing in the elements." Yep, that's the Packers history. The Bills are discussing building a new stadium there with $850 million of public subsidy. And don't know what it's going to look like just yet. Maybe domed. All right. It may be domed. I understand the governor of New York was there. So Matt LaFleur emphasized that Aaron Rodgers takes great care of himself, thinks he'll play as long as he wants to. Let's go down here and continue information. Aaron Wilson reports that LaFleur on trading Dante Adams said it's not going to be easy to replace. I would envision a lot can happen between now and opening day. We're moving forward. Then Wes Huckowitz says Matt LaFleur reports he got the text message. I said that one earlier. And let's see here. And so it says Matt LaFleur will address the Green Bay Media Corps this morning in Palm Beach. We'll have stories and videos to follow. Their content, that's the latest. Let's see if there's anything top end. The pack is on edge. Not as much. Let's see here. Got more. Let's go up here, see what the latest is. We go all the way up to the top. Ian Rappaport, 11 minutes ago, says Packers coach Matt LaFleur jokes. It was good to see left tackle David Bakhtiari dancing at his wedding. But seriously, David looked good dancing. I can't wait to see him at the OTAs. Ryan Wood reports that Packers coach Matt LaFleur just wrapped up media session. That was 5 minutes ago. He says expectation is Aaron Rodgers will play as long as he wants. Asked LaFleur if Rodgers needs to be an off-season program giving wide receiver youth, and he stressed it's voluntary, so no hard line there. And that's the text message report there. And let's see here. Is there any video? There's no video posted early. Royal Caribbean, let's see here. Nothing there. All right, so that's the Packers. We talked about, before we go to the Saints, let's go to the Bears. I think so. Chicago Bears here. Latest. Be honest with yourselves, how many of you have Brian Bateman at the top of your free agent list? That's not it. Let's see here. Ryan Poles confirmed growing rumor about 2020 NFL draft plans. 2022, excuse me. Let's keep going here. Writing Chicago and the Bears. Bear down, Chicago Bears. There's Ryan Poles. Ryan Poles confirmed growing rumor about Bears 2022 NFL draft plans. Let's repeat it there. I'll dive into what that means in a little bit. Let's see here. Go down and since you're going back in time to pick up what was said. Ryan Poles has needed to make some tough roster decisions in the early going. The Bears rookie general manager reflected on his early decisions Monday during the NFL owners meeting in Palm Beach. Barkush talked about his painful lesson season. And here is something from 28 minutes ago, the bigger picture takeaway from Matt Eberflus as he's viewing this as though he'll be coaching the Bears the next 10 years. So he can accept that the Khalil Mack trade hurts now, but helps later. He won't be derailed by the outside urgency of trying to fix this immediately. Brian Biggs reports that Coach Eberflus says he would like to have joint practices with another team during preseason, but nothing is finalized at this point. And let's see here. Tying around the Bears, that's funny. Yeah, the philosophy that we're adopting that people don't want to hear is take more than a year to get to this point, though. That's part of a longer Twitter exchange I don't have time to focus on. That's the good morning, Bears fans. This is Larry Muir an hour ago talking about the fact that Bears GM Ryan Poles spoke to reporters Monday at the meetings. Bears General Manager Ryan Poles. Not much here about Eberflus. Not much posted under the under hashtag Bears. Now, maybe if we go up here and look at it this way, perhaps we take it's funny tweet including Charlie Day there. Perhaps if we take Matt Eberflus name, and I'm looking for it so I don't misspell it, thereby taking even more time, then copy it, there it is, and paste it. See, last name in particular, right? Like so. And okay. And let's see here. And mention that. Here is Eberflus. Bears coach Matt Eberflus says Khalil Mack has had a great career and will continue to be great, but shedding the contract will be good for us in the long run. That was 40 minutes ago. It's like they had that discussion there. Looks comfortable. Kevin Fishbane says, I felt left out having not tweeted an empty podium pick as we wait for Bears head coach Matt Eberflus. There. That's the latest. It's another one. Courtney Cronin. Courtney, let's see what she is putting out there since she's the Bears reporter on hand. That's what she put out an hour ago. And then discussed the extravagance of league meetings. This is from last night. Nice setting. Yeah, the league's reception is something that you have to visit at least once. I will just say that it's something you have to visit at least once. And she says, networking and leaning on people who have been tapped into talent and cap management since Feinstein has not managed to cap from done on the team side before. Cliff Stein, Bears general counsel, is back managing the cap, and the team will eventually transition it to Feinstein. That's Courtney Cronin. A little light on the content there, but whatever. Okay, let's see the top results for Coach Eberflus. Okay, more. That's that by Courtney. That's by Mr. Fishbane. And let's see here. With Ryan Poles saying the Bears might sign a cornerback and be interested in Xavier Rhodes as a stopgap option, he bounced back in Matt Eberflus' scheme with the Colts and is still a solid player. Okay. Matt Eberflus is planning on bringing in Bears legend to help the defense. You got Dick Butkus. He texted me back. Then you have Julius Peppers, Urlacher, Lance Bliggs is truly amazing. Peanut Tillman. Hopefully he's coming in for a spring practice to talk to the team. I got him talked into that, so we'll see. And this is from yesterday, okay? Okay, so that's from Matt Eberflus. How about, why don't we go over to, we got the Bears covered, we got the Packers covered, obviously, and, talking about the NFC Central. How about the Vikings? Hashtag Vikings. Like so. What do we have there? That was 18 hours ago. What's the latest? An unusual financial detail defining Minnesota's future salary cap. Vikings have signed former Dolphins lineman Jesse Davis. I do not see any posts regarding the coach under hashtag Vikings. Wow. Interesting. That was 3 hours ago. Let's see the latest. Like so. I've already reported that one. Talking about the Jeffrey Davis is signed. And it may be that the head coach decided to skip the meeting. I know some have. And it seems that of the ones that are there, that's 20 minutes ago. Let's see here. What is this report? It's time for the Minnesota Vikings to roll out the throwbacks. Okay. How would you feel about Vikings cornerback room? Vikings weapons. It was 15 hours ago. Nothing there. Let's see here. Try something regarding not there. Welcome everybody. Hold on a second. I'm going to get rid of that rather ridiculous deal in one moment. I just want to see something. Bear with me, please. I'm just trying something here. Okay. I've got it. Now I'm going to take that and I'm going to paste it here. Boom. Kevin O'Connell, the latest here. Strolling listing on a dozen NFLC head coaches' press conferences, talking about how he's impressed. That's Nestor. Nestor is there. Good old Nestor Aparicio. Day 56. Let's see, it's 2 hours. And even then, look, this is 15 hours of tweets. Nothing from Kevin O'Connell there. That was February 18th. There's the coach's photo. And that's it, folks. Let's see if there's anything in the video section. It's just that they're expected to hire him. Very quiet on that front. Cowboys, coach didn't attend. They said about a dozen. That's 12. So, coaches. So let's shift over to the Giants. NY, hashtag NY Giants. Like so. And go to the latest. And so it sounds to me from catching up on Sean's comments from the NFL owners meeting in Florida that the Barkley dilemma is officially over and we can at least hold debates about a contract to next offseason. A prove-it year for Saquon Barkley without the new contract. Insane to think coaching to the strength of his players. Zach Rosenblatt reports that Brian Daboll said he went back and watched a lot of film of Kenny Galladay when he was with the Lions and to figure out how to best use that player. Still looking for a photograph or video tweet from his session. I don't see any. One. Looks like one of those cases where, here we go. Okay, we got, NFL makes adjustments to Rooney Rule. All right. So minority hiring, I'll talk about that later. Joe Schoen reached out to Saquon Barkley. I believe I explained that one. This is 8 hours ago. Okay. If I go to top, now let's just type Brian Day. There we go. Like that. And voila. There we go. We have some meaning here.
Not to go off. It's a fair question. I'm trying my best. Look, I'm new to this, right? I'm 2 months on the job. I certainly don't have the answers. I'm just doing, again, you said it. I've started 5 years in my career of coaching defensive football, and I've coached here offense, but it's always cool to look at a defensive player and evaluate them as, okay, I'm not really worried about if we play against this guy that gets drafted, we're gonna go at his ass, or this guy's pretty tough. I mean, he's a good player, whether that's setting the edge or, so that's been a cool thing. I've really enjoyed that. And in terms of would I rather draft an offensive guy or a defensive guy, I'd rather draft the best player wherever that fits. We have a lot of needs. So, we're gonna pick the best guy we can pick at, either of those spots or one of those spots or however it works out.
So that's 23 minutes ago. This is Zach Rosenbach saying Brian Daboll is here. Great. Jordan Rannans reports that Brian Daboll asked about the tackle position, specifically the right side, and says they're still looking to add players. NFL draft, maybe. Says, like Joe Shorn, Brian Daboll has spoken with Shaquan Barkley about a trade. They're people first. It's important to show a little empathy.
Yeah, no, I've talked.
Oops, excuse me. All right, let's try that again. Right back here, and go.
Yeah.
Where he stood.
Yeah.
Did you do that as well?
Yeah, yeah, no, I've talked to Saquon. I talked to Saquon a fair amount.
Wait a minute, somehow we got.
Yeah, I talked to all those. I
So
mean,
let
when
me straighten
things
that
come
out.
out,
Hold on a second, folks. Let me straighten that out and recenter it. I don't know how it happened. We got off track. I think I was busy looking for content, but I stopped. I got the content. So one moment, please. In less than a second, I will have Brian Daboll's comment right here, and there it is. And here is Coach Daboll right there. And let's have at it again. Thus.
Saquon to kind of assure him.
Yeah.
Where he stood.
Yeah.
Did you do that as well?
Yeah, yeah, no, I've talked to Saquon. I talked to Saquon a fair amount. Yeah, I talked to all those. I mean, when things come out, I try to stay on top of it because, look, these guys, I have kids that are 22 and 21 years old, and I'm sure you all have kids that are, whatever ages. I think they're people first. And you can say whatever you want. You can say, hey, it's just people are writing stuff or reporting stuff. I think it's important to show a little empathy, too, to the guys in the situations that they're in this league. I know it's a tough business. But I think it's a people business too. So I think the more upfront and transparent you can be, and even when things are being said, which look, this time of year there's a million things being said. Some are probably true, some are probably not true. And I understand that, and I like being transparent with these guys and letting them know where I stand. And if I do hear something that comes across the wave, I'll say, yeah, this is either the case or no, just hang tight. But I think showing empathy goes a long way. Probably something 10 years ago I wasn't good at either.
So, yeah, that's a rather self-effacing comment from Brian Daboll. And someone wrote, why does it look like Brian Daboll is giving Sean McDermott the evil eye? And they have a breakdown here on Brian Daboll's coach. That was from March 23rd. Let's see if there's anything more. And let's see here. We already covered that. Great news. Brian Daboll says Daniel Jones' neck will be healthy and ready to go when the Giants hit the field this spring. And that is a photograph of Coach Daboll. Pat Leonard reported 29 minutes ago, asked if it's not hard to prioritize offense at the top of the NFL draft. You saw that. He said that he wants the best player available. When things are going good, try not to listen. When things are going bad, try not to listen. All we can control is what we can do for that day. This is how he handles outside noise.
Yeah, I think that the biggest thing that we all can do, starting with me and trickling down to the rest of the people in the organization, is just focus. Obviously, Joe's got to focus on the future, and we all do, but really focus on the day and try to win each day. And things are always going to be said in our league, and rightfully so. It's the most popular sport, and there's a great fan base and great support, and all you guys have your job to do, and I understand that. But what we can do is just focus on what we have to do to get better each day, and whether things are, I've learned a long time ago, when things are going good, Try not to listen, and when things are going bad, try not to listen, and respect the people that are on the outside that love our game and that report on our game, and all we can control is what we can do for that day, and that's kind of the mentality that I'm going to take with myself, with the staff, and with the rest of the players.
I think
that
the
biggest thing that
the coaching on, he's level-headed, he's mature, thoughtful. Let's see how that holds up under the heat of battle during the season. But look, he's been the Bills' offensive coordinator, and I think they made the right decision in bringing him in. And so, just from how it looks like he's going to handle a crisis, okay? Jordan Rannon says that Coach Dayball said that they're still looking to add players, and he had said they have a lot of needs, okay? That's what he had said there, okay? He had arrived about an hour ago, all right? So that's Coach Dayball. He arrived an hour ago, and this is just added a minute ago, all right? So you're going to have content just, coming in. Let's see.
So there's probably a lot of
Fluid.
Yeah, that's where it's at. Again, long way until there's a long way until the season starts, and there's probably a lot of things that could go either way. And I think it's just a fluid situation.
Just your thoughts on him as a player in general?
Yeah, long. Been a good player. Was a Pro Bowl player in 2020. So yeah.
So that's the latest tweet on anything Dayball has said. 5 minutes ago, this was put up by Pat Schwartz. Brian Dayball, speaking at the owners' meeting, said he called Daniel Jones, the Giants starting quarterback, to alert him that they were signing Tyrod Taylor. Said, quote, "We kind of got it set the way we want it set right now, meaning Jones is the starter and Taylor is the backup. Keep an eye on that. Tyrod Taylor is one of these backups and come in and really fill in capably for you or be the starter. So, and he's mobile in a way that Daniel Jones isn't always mobile. You know what I mean? So keep an eye on what happens there. Okay, keep an eye on what happens there. Okay, so now that we've covered that road, I think it looks like we have. Let's go back over to the Saints and Dennis Allen, who provided, quite a good video. And so let's go back down here. First of all, let's see if there's more photo and video. So we know I have the video of what he said. All right. Okay. That's video. That's old video from 2020. We don't need that. Photos. So there's Dennis Allen. Someone says, I love Dennis Allen in Bird Notice. That's from 11 hours ago. And I tweeted this out as well, where Allen had stated the focus of Taysom Hill this season is tight end. His contract possesses kickers and incentives if he were a starting quarterback, but with Jameis Winston re-signed, Hill focuses elsewhere. We'll get to that later. And we'll see the latest takeaways there 7 minutes ago. Let's see if Dennis Allen said Winston was great throughout the whole process and they're moving forward with him. And he says Dennis Allen says the plan is to have Taysom Hill focus on tight end. That was Nick Hill 29 minutes ago. Uncle DB says Dennis Allen is off to a great start. I agree. Doing the Lord's work. So Saints coach Dennis Allen admitted there was a little, damn, I thought we were done with him when Tom Brady came out of his brief retirement, since he's, quote, probably the greatest quarterback of all time, unquote, but he said they like the challenge. And Brian Sobeski says Dennis Allen is already further along than Sean Payton in one area. Dennis Allen says the plan is to have Taysom Hill focus on tight end. And I got this. Hey, I beat Nick Underhill by a good, I would say beat Nick Underhill by roughly 4 minutes in getting this information out. John DeSager says Dennis Allen went to see Michael Thomas. A lot of this is in the video that's up and is in what we earlier started. And also this will be on Oakland News Now, blog.com momentarily if it's not already, thanks to our automatic system. So let's go and shift gears here. Let's go from Dennis Allen. Well, Bruce Arians is not there, but maybe there's a fill-in. Bruce. 630 tweets there. And he said, would have turned every stone. Bruce Arians reveals Bucks plans if Tom Brady would never return. Looks like Arians did show up. Or he spoke at some point, because the reports were he was not going to show up this morning. That's from 8 hours ago, so perhaps he did not. And perhaps he did not. Let's check the photos. Looks like he didn't. So I'm going to move on from Arians. And Jenna Lane says, this is from March 21st. Talked about friction. Says, since there seems to be a need for clarity on this, here's the transcript of my 2 questions and Bucks GM Jason Licht's response when I asked about reports of friction between Arians and Tom Brady. He interjected by saying some level of friction can be healthy. I interjected by saying some level of friction can be healthy. He agreed. Okay. I don't know what that sounds like leading the witness to me, but whatever. So that's old information. Let's see. Nope, not there. So, okay, let's go on from Bruce Arians. And let's go to Matt Rule. There. There's Coach Rule. Cameron Wolf reporting that Panthers coach said, Matt, they're not locked into drafting a quarterback at number 6. He says priority number 1 right now is evaluating draft 4 franchise quarterback while also keeping an eye on the trade market. Rule believes at least one of Malik Willis / Kenny Pickett's or Matt Corral will be a top 10 pick. Then let's see here. That's 15 hours. Going to skip that. And the latest on was, okay, here we go. Let's go up here. No more comments. Let's see if there's no photos yet. No content. Wow. Someone, looks like a lot of folks went out cocktailing. So I know what happened. Wow, they went out and not much. Okay. Not much. And yeah, so there isn't much there. That's Matt Rule for the Carolina Panthers. All right. So we covered Arians, Rule. Of course, Ron Rivera. Right there. Here, let's see, that's old. Let's see the latest. Don't see this is ridiculous. He says, yes, there is a diversity issue, but let's make it not just about African Americans. Look, the problem is that African Americans are being discriminated against. So, okay, I'm writing that. And then I'll make a video about this later. Discriminated against. So you have to, quote, make it about just African Americans to solve the problem. Boom. That's it. Okay. Someone, all right. Here's a photograph. Washington, easy target, and I'm tired of it. He says, I don't know what that's referring to. Ron Rivera says Washington is discussing joint practices. Hey, someone better let him know that LaFleur's got his eyes open, as does Eberflus. And let's see here is the latest. No posted video clips. The level overall of content this morning is far less than yesterday. Far less than yesterday. Okay. There we go. I mean, especially look at this. Ron Rivera this morning, unfortunately, no Hawaiian shirt. But if you look at the number of people, actually, it's not a great number. All right. But, and some of those people are NFL people. So overall, I think that's Ian Rappaport over there. Don't see too many press people, so hence that's why. And look at how they're standing. Okay, you don't look at that. You got one person, and the person Mitchell Chitcher holding this camera, making content. Obviously making content. Others are writing. They're talking. There's no other person that's up recording audio or making video. Actually, I've seen one other person. Maybe no. That's it. So out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people, you have 2 making content. There you go. There's your shortage. There's the reason for your shortage. All right. So let's let's just put something in. Let's go up here and see what they added at the top. Let's see here. And don't see, we saw that already. Let's go to here. Okay. Washington coach Ron Rivera helps NFL with new diversity rule. I don't think they're saying that because he's Latino. They're saying that because apparently he's helping that in some kind of way. That was 2 hours ago. That wasn't even part of his conversation. All right. Okay. So let's, considering that, let's go away. Let's go to the Eagles. Hashtag Eagles. Like so. There we go. Chris Franklin comes through.
NFL. And what I mean by that, he was the fourth guy. He can play. He can back up every position in the slot. He can back up on the outside. He played a big key in special teams. He brought an element of toughness to the group, and so that's what his role was early on. Then the following year, he was, after in 2019, he was like our number 3. That got elevated with some injuries to being our number 2 and then number 1 at times. So Zach, and where you really like Zach is again that toughness that he brings. So, a lot is to be determined still with the group, but it's an important piece that we're excited to have, and we know the type of football character that Zach brings to the Philadelphia Eagles and to our organization. And so, couldn't be more happy about Zach being an Eagle.
Yeah, so there you go. That's talking about Zach Pascal as an Eagle, and He reports that Jalen Hurts is working out in Southern California the off season. I like that pairing there. That's all we got so far. And let's try something here. Since we're not going to get much from that. Can't believe what our Eagles learned today. Wait a second. Let me do this. Oops, excuse me. There. Nick Sirianni. There. On the addition. Okay, that's what we talked about there. We heard the Jalen Hurts news. That's 23 hours ago. And Sirianni said that Derek Barnett is everything that embodies what we want in the characteristics of a player. He's tough. He's competitive. He's got high football IQ. He's got high character. He loves football. And I love Derek Barnett. I love the type of player and person that he is. There's Nick Sirianni there. And, okay, so that's all the Nick Sirianni content, Eagles coach. So we can now, I believe, shift over and we covered Jacksonville yesterday. That's AFC. I'm just thinking out loud, folks, here. And, of course, Arthur Smith. There. From the Falcons, latest. There's Coach Smith. D. Orlando Ledbetter was in the house. Says Falcons coach Arthur Smith says opportunity everywhere when asked about the new offensive players, running back Damian Williams, running back Auden Tate, and wide receiver Cordero Hodge. And this is from March 23rd. So thanks, Steve, for coming through. Adam Schefter reported that free agent linebacker and former Titans first-round pick Rashad Evans is visiting the Falcons today. The latest, that was 12 minutes ago. We saw that from D-Led. Said that all the rookies have to improve next season, especially Richie Grant. Jory Epstein reports that Coach Smith said he didn't stress about Tom Brady unretiring because he never believed Tom Brady retired. Until we played Tampa and he didn't run out there, Smith says he's expecting quarterback to continue playing at a high level in the division. And this is what he says about Marcus Mariota.
Remarriage? No, I think Marcus, certainly we're both in a different spot. He's certainly gone through a different experience. He's in a much better place. He understands and he's excited for the opportunity in front of him.
So there you go.
Remarriage?
Basic soundbite about Marcus Mariota. Scott Bear says Arthur Smith will hit the podium 20 minutes here at our owners meeting. Scott, I believe, works for the Falcons now. He's the digital managing editor. All right. Yep. So, yeah. Okay, we have top. What else here? Sirianni, Smith. Where else are we going here? Let's see here. Cover some ground here. Bruce Arians isn't there. We covered the AFC South pretty much. NFC South. How about the 49ers with Kyle Shanahan? There. Kyle Shanahan, who held his meeting outside. And 49er fangirl Tracy Sandler put this up about 36 seconds ago. Let's see what she's got.
That he wanted to do it. I keep not getting how these TV announcers want to come coach or GM. They seem like they got a pretty good gig. But he has a huge passion for football. And, I was able to work with Greasy for 2 years in Tampa. I personally think he was the smartest football player I'd ever been around. The way that he prepared, how organized he was, he's as detailed of a guys I've ever been around. And I thought it was kind of, you could bring something different to the quarterback position. I deal with the quarterback a ton. Bobby Solo deals with the quarterback a ton. We're always working with the quarterback. So that was neat to bring in somebody to bring something a little bit different. We kind of have a partnership in there where we all can offer a little bit different stuff. And I love that Trey has someone that has been through the battle, that I can tell him about it and what I've seen with guys, but someone who's actually had to go through the ups and downs and that pressures of having a good game and then throwing a pick that loses the next game, how to deal with the media, how to deal with this NFL season. And I think it's hard to find a player always that's done it at such a high level that's willing to go through that commitment and stuff. And Brian seems all on board, and we've had him here for a month, and it's been great.
How did that come about?
So there he was talking about Kyle Shanahan. Excuse me, go back here. Kyle Shanahan. Let's go back to that.
That he wanted to do it.
Kyle Shanahan wouldn't say whether he would start both the Trey Lance and Jerry Garoppolo on the same on the roster, but listen to his answer on Brian Greasy as quarterback coach, and it's pretty clear. Okay,
I personally think he was the smartest football player I'd ever been around.
He's talking about
the way
Brian
that he
Greasy.
prepared, how organized he was. He's as detailed of a guys I've ever been around. And I thought it was kind of, you could bring something different to the quarterback position. I deal with the quarterback a ton. Bobby Solo deals with the quarterback a ton. We're always working with the quarterback. So that was neat to bring in somebody to bring something a little bit different. We kind of have a partnership in there where we all can offer a little bit different stuff.
I don't know what
love
Tracy
that
is
Trey has
thinking
someone
about
that
there,
has
but
been through the battle, that I can tell him about it and what I've seen with guys, but someone who's actually had to go through the ups and downs and that pressures of having a good game and then throwing a pick that loses the next game, how to deal with the media, how to deal with this NFL season. And I think it's hard to find a player always that's done it at such a high level that's willing to go through that commitment and stuff. And Brian seems all on board, and we've had him here for a month, and it's been great.
How did that come about?
so there you go. Okay, that's Kyle Shanahan. That's quite interesting. Oh, hey Pete. Hey, how you doing, Pete? Pete says anything on the Dolphins. Yeah, I'll come back to the Dolphins. I covered the Dolphins yesterday, but I'm happy to talk about the Dolphins today. What I'll do is I will go back and why don't we together to satisfy your question, go back and take a look at the information that I just shared regarding the NFL meeting. Why don't we just simply type Mike McDaniel there, and we can get what was done yesterday, right? As you can see here, okay, we can get what was done yesterday, and then work our way up till now. Okay, so let's start with that. Okay, so there's quite a bit on your Dolphins. Cameron Wolf says Mike McDaniel and Tom Brady, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback. That's what you call it. Fake news. You probably heard about that, right? And Barry Jackson talking about everything notable. We're getting through that, and whatever happened in the past with the Dolphins, we're calling it pre-Mike McDaniel, per Mike McDaniel. So in other words, that's his way of not addressing anything regarding Brian Flores. And, I think the less said about that from his perspective, the better, because when you've got a lawsuit in the middle of, it's better to just shut up about the person that you're being sued by. Not even if you're not directly being the person that's directly the target of the lawsuit, but the company that you represent is. So I would, if I were him, just chill on that. So this, he says, we've added some playmakers. There's buzz this organization deserved. Another slap at Brian Flores. Because who's to say that, Flores were retained as coach? He would not have added the same playmakers. It's a little bit of arrogance there, that youthful arrogance too. Kind of like, the sound of the young man who got the job that other people expected somebody else to get, but he believes he's best suited for. I get that, but there's another way to express your superiority. If you're not expressing in a technical way, in other words, if you're not talking about your system, which he doesn't do, then as far as I'm concerned, I would can that. Because I'll be honest with you, Pete. I'm not sold on this guy. And the reason I'm not is I think he's a lot of hot air. Excuse me, not hot water, but hot air. The hot air could get him into hot water. I think he's a fellow who is confident in what he perceives is his analytical ability. But for me, who came up during the era of Tom Landry and Bill Walsh and people who created systems, and I put this to other people. I said, tell me what he's created. Okay, tell me what he's created. And this is nothing personal against him, all right, at all. He seems like a person I actually might very well like and get along with extremely well if I met him down there. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about how, in my view, he's projecting himself. And if I were him, I would simply do what Coach Flores did when he first took the job. He was very quiet, very humble, didn't say much. And say what you will about Brian Flores, he turned in winning seasons. Okay? He turned in a good track record. He arguably should not have been fired, but he was. That's the prerogative of owning an NFL team. But for this guy to come in and think that, or at least send out the idea ahead of time that he is going to turn water into wine when really he already had wine to begin with in a number of areas, I think is not a good idea. But let's continue. Let's go to the latest. I am going up here. Pro Football Network says that about the report regarding Tom Brady. Tua Tagovailoa is a starter. He also said yesterday, Pete, that regarding Teddy Bridgewater, that he said that he was making it clear a month ago that he was bringing Teddy Bridgewater, even though he didn't use Bridgewater's name. He was, in a sense, keeping that away from the media, right? But it's clear that Teddy Bridgewater is going to be the backup. I think that's interesting because I will tell you this. You mark my words. Somewhere this season, Teddy Bridgewater will wind up starting. I want you to see my face when I say that. Mark my words. At some point this NFL season, Teddy Bridgewater will be the Dolphins starter. Okay? Mark that, all right? That's happening. Okay? Teddy Bridgewater is no fly-by-night. Teddy Bridgewater is not what he seems to be evolving into, a journeyman quarterback. Teddy Bridgewater is a top-flight NFL starting quarterback, first-round caliber, who was drafted from the University of Louisville, an excellent ball control passing offense helmer, who started off with the Vikings, and but for an ugly preseason injury to his leg, was by all accounts on pace to do some really great things with the Vikings. All right. that possibility is still out there. Tua, by contrast, comes in as a decorated Alabama quarterback and with a great deal of promise and some awesome ability regarding throwing the intermediate pass, particularly the glance pass in the read option system, okay, as well as his running ability, all right? But do I believe that Tua is a better quarterback than Teddy? No. Teddy Bridgewater is a better overall quarterback than Tua, okay? So basically, in the way Teddy's temperament is, I've interviewed him twice. To me, he is a silent assassin. The kind of person who will come in, is very nice, but extremely competent. Once you give him a position, he's going to hold on to it. And he's going to make it difficult for whoever is there with him to be the guy. Watch and mark my words, okay? Watch and mark my words. This guy's going to wind up eating his words. Trust me, okay? Trust me. Talking about Coach McDaniel. Let me see if I can zoom in here a little bit more. And zoom in here a little bit more. Right there. Okay. And let's go down. It's going to be a fun season. Carrot Butt says, does Mike McDaniel look like the smart kid who got to skip a couple of grades? Well, he acts like that, but not in the way that I'm used to regarding someone who's a true football innovator. True football innovators don't say, well, I'm going to take my talents here. True football innovators just simply innovate. Okay? That's what they do. So, 27 minutes ago, Bridgewater says he has a concussion. Said that that's not a complete one. Barry Jackson says Carroll said the proof that Dolphins coach McDaniel is innovate is the thing he did with the 49ers running game that are just different from others. And this is what I want to get to, okay? What Coach McDaniel did with the 49er running game really, when you isn't that innovative, when you start looking at what was just down the farm at Stanford, he basically, talking about McDaniel, he basically borrowed from what David Shaw had been doing for years, using wide receivers as running backs, just as Ty Montgomery, and using running formations out of the shotgun, which is not new. That is not innovative. What I consider to be innovative is something like, because people can't define exactly what it is he did other than that. And that's not, and pitching it directly to the running back, hey, David Shaw's did that at Stanford. All right. Years before McDaniel. All right. That one little adjustment, you cannot pin on him first. You have to look at what Coach Shaw did first. And keep in mind, we're talking about Stanford, which is just, look, down the road a piece, down 101 from the 49ers. All right. Think about that. So, and that's the coach's picture. We've seen that. Packers coach Mike LaFleur McDaniel says he's a bright mind. He's going to do a phenomenal job. Let's see here.
You see that hard work. I'm really excited for Mike. It's really fun to see guys that work and grind and are so humble, and you see that hard work pay off. And certainly, I think he is a bright mind, and I know you guys probably figured that out pretty quickly. And I think he'll do a phenomenal job because he cares about people. And he's genuine, and I think I don't ever see him losing that. So I'm excited for him and what this future holds for him. I'm really excited for Mike.
Matt LaFleur saying great things about him. And of course, we heard about him shooting down the Brady rumors. And he did provide clarity. I always talked about the Bridgewater situation. And someone says he has the vibe that says, I can't wait until recess. Lots of stuff. McDaniel, well, this is starting to become, he's talked about Hill, Armstead, Gecki, and Bridgewater, and reacting to the, and then, of course, he got to talk with Bill Belichick about something. I don't know what they talked about. Okay, so there is, I hope that helps about the, hope that answers your question regarding the Dolphins. Okay. There is a simple rule. Offense sells tickets and defense wins championships. And look, a lot of what's being heaped on Brian Flores is by people who don't like that he sued the NFL regarding the lack of opportunities for black folks in a number of areas in the league. Head coach being the most glaring, the obvious problem. But someone needed to do that. There is a glaring tendency for people, as represented by a mostly white media, to be, clearly honest, to explain away anything great a black person does who steps outside of a stereotypical role. In other words, as head of an effort to bring the Super Bowl to a city, or as head coach, or as offensive coordinator, look at what Eric Bieniemy is going through. Okay, for example, with Eric Bieniemy is an excellent example of what I'm talking about. The knock on Eric Bieniemy was that he didn't call plays, but boom, he does call plays. The knock on Eric Bieniemy was, well, he got into these off the field issues back in college. But look, Mike Vrabel, the coach of the Titans, I need to go back and look at what he said, by the way, from the other day. But Mike Vrabel was arrested 3 times. Okay, 3 times. And one of those times during his stint when he was linebacker coach. And he had what was reported to be a problem with alcohol, which quite obviously he's overcome. We all have problems and issues. But to take the problems and issues of a person and use them against that person because they are black, and ignore those same issues when a person is white, is racist. That was done to Cam Newton. When Cam Newton was coming out, the Associated Press, the USA Today reporter, I'm not going to mention his name here, I've talked about him before, but he basically wrote a piece featuring Cam Newton, but it mentioned all these other black quarterbacks without saying they're black, and in total talked about their deficiencies, and how Cam Newton is sort of the latest version of that flavor of quarterback without saying they're black. In the same piece, this reporter, Jim Gabbard, okay, I'll just say who it is. He's not with the USA Today. He hasn't been for some time. Wrote that Blaine Gabbert was a pro-style quarterback in college. No, he played a spread. All right? But Jim Gabbard tried to make it look like Blaine Gabbert was more NFL ready than Cam Newton. Cam Newton learned 3 offenses and 3 rather different offenses in 3 years during his college career. Okay? So, and that was taken out. In other words, my point is that Cam is a truly intelligent fellow whose ability to pick up offenses and run them at a high level was not written about by anybody other than me when I was posting at the website, the San Francisco Chronicle, as a blogger. So there's been a lot of, I call it a miscarriage of intellectual justice done to people because they're black. And people try to explain it away, but you start looking at the data and the tapestry of examples out there, and they all have that in common. All right. And they go right up to today, and they lay the groundwork for what we see today in terms of who's getting hired. And that's what Brian Flores was trying to bring attention to, the end result of that dynamic and how it's harmed him and other coaches. Mike Tomlin's talked about it as well. You're not getting the best and the brightest when you do that, folks. You might convince yourself that someone is bright. All right. But brightness can be expressed in how a person talks. But for the purpose of football, the only brightness I care about is how that person approaches the game, and in terms of from a schematic standpoint. Tony Dungy, remember, created the Tampa 2, for example. There are a number of coaches that have made contributions here and there. But when you tell me that a coach is innovative, I expect that coach to do more than just in one facet of the game. I expect that coach to be a Tom Landry who created the 4-3 defense and the flex defense. I expect that coach to be a Mouse Davis who created the run and shoot. Okay? I can take approaches of football and I can attach names to them. All right? When I can do that, then the person's an innovator. All right? Okay? Then the person's an innovator. Tony Dungy's the Tampa 2. Everybody knows that. Right? Tom Landry, the flex defense and multiple offense. Everybody knows that. Who should know football? Vince Lombardi is the run to daylight. Everybody knows that. You should know football. You see where I'm going with this? These are clear examples of innovation. All right? Clear examples of innovation. Pitch back in the running game. When I saw that, hey, Stanford and David Shaw. All right? Don't tell me that McDaniels did it. Daniel did it first. No. All right? Okay, so we've been on here for an hour and 12 minutes. That's okay. Let's go over to take a look at Sean Mcveigh and see what he said at the owners' meeting, and go back a bit here. Make sure we've got the right thread, and we looks like we do. Trying to find a video here. Heck, let me go back and show you where I'm at. And this is where I am at. Boom. Okay. It says there's interest in Bobby Wagner. It says that Bobby Wagner is special, and the Rams definitely have an interest. I'm trying to find video from this time. There's, of course, the photograph. Now we're getting that sweet spot area. Here we go. Take a look at this. There we go, right? Boom.
Enjoyed watching with Raheem and E. Was there so self-assured, but he's a great collaborator. I think one of the things that I really enjoyed watching with Raheem and E was their ability to work in coordination, figure out the best ways for our defense to be able to operate. But he's got such a clear vision of what he wants it to look like. He's been around great coaches that he's been able to learn from, and I'm really fired up for E, and I know he's going to do a great job. And he's been somebody that I've worked with for such a long period of time. And you just watch the growth that he's had as a coach. He'll do a great job connecting and helping really make guys better players. And he'll be able to adjust and adapt accordingly, but he'll do a great job for the Broncos.
He's talking about
Stukes and Dixon, two other guys too. I mean, really, you guys take three of our best coaches. And, Dwayne Stukes, what a great leader, what a great command he has. again, another guy that does a great job being able to connect with the players. And then Marcus Dixon, what a special story he has, understanding, guys that can really stay resilient, overcome adversity. He's such a great and special human being, but he is also a guy that I think he's going to earn the credibility with his players because he played the game. He understands it. He did such a great job learning from who was, one of the best to do it in Eric Henderson. And that's three special coaches. We're going to really miss those guys and love them. Happy for the opportunity in Denver. Nate's going to do an awesome job too.
Okay, so there you go with that. We got Sean Mcveigh on Dolphins offense is going to be scary. It says McDaniel's ex-boss is jealous. Tomlin and the Giants address Flores and Flynn's notes. And I mentioned Bobby Wagner a little bit ago. Let's see here. Sean Mcveigh on Super Bowl win. I said Aaron's going to close the game out right here, and he did. Talking about Aaron McDonald. And can you imagine if they got Bobby Wagner? This is Sean Mcveigh on overtime. Let's see what he's saying here.
I'm aware of the health and safety, and I think we would agree. Give each team a possession, and then let's go from there. You know what? I don't have a strong opinion on that. I'm aware of the health and safety and how that could possibly extend some of the snap counts over the course of a 17-game regular season. I don't think that's quite of a big deal. I wouldn't be against it. I do think that everybody would be in agreement that, hey, that playoff game, some of these things that get brought to life when it comes up in the playoffs, everybody would have loved to see Josh Allen get a possession. And Coach Reed would say that. We've had that conversation in the committee a couple weeks ago, I can remember. And so, I think that'll get changed. I think everybody, sometimes the things that make the most sense are usually the ones that end up getting passed through. There's always some semantics and logistics, but I am in favor of that in the postseason for sure, Steve. I think we would agree.
So there you go, talking about overtime rules there. And let's see what. Oh, Sean McVay on Von Miller, who went to the Bills. This is what he had to say.
He was, but what he did when he came in, I think that the street cred that he had with our players in the locker room, having won Super Bowl MVP, having been through that journey, he really pushed guys to elevate their game. I know how much respect Aaron had for him, and he really challenged Aaron in some ways that raised his game and raised our team. His production is special, but he's one of those guys that, he treats everybody so well. The equipment staff, the PR, everybody's going to love Von Miller, and you're going to really love what he can do on the football field. He's such a unique I was talking to Brandon Staley about him yesterday, and he described him as Spider-Man, and I think that's a good way to describe him because his body control, his athleticism, his flexibility, his ability to close and finish out plays was a big reason why we were able to win, and he's going to do a great job, for the Buffalo Bills. Von Miller is he's a great dude, number one.
And that's where it started out, and you've heard the rest. So his comments are on Von Miller. And it's the annual coaches, photograph there. Let's see if there's here's a photograph of McVeigh. Trying to pick up, I think more, it was an hour ago. Says that current priorities, McVeigh says, are still getting Aaron Donald's contracts done. And the dialogue is open between team and Cooper Kupp's reps on extension and restructure of his contract. And Sean McVeigh asked about the copycat nature of the NFL now, that more teams are trading away picks for star players. If that's something that works, we'll do it, okay? The Bobby Wagner story is now well told, as you can see. Another photograph of the photograph. And so let's see here. And that's where we picked up there. Okay. Let's see if there are any other photos, videos. Yeah, here's one. This is 6 minutes ago. Sean McVay asked if he thinks the NFL should change the overtime rules. I
don't think there'd be anybody that would disagree that Josh Allen probably deserved the possession in the playoffs. And I know Coach Reed feels the same way. And so, whether that ends up being in the regular season, but I think the postseason, most importantly, giving everybody an opportunity to get a possession and play it out from there. I think that's what my vote would be. And I don't think there'd be anybody that would disagree.
There you go.
That Josh Allen probably deserved the possession in the playoffs, and I know Coach Reed feels the same way. And so, whether that ends up being in the regular season, but I think the postseason, most importantly, giving everybody an opportunity to get a possession and play it out from there. I think that's what my vote would be. And I don't think
there you go. Okay. All right. So we'll see how that comes out next. So we got Shanahan, McVeigh. Let's Pete Carroll. Let's go and check out one of my favorite people, Pete Carroll, in the whole wide world other than my mom, Pete Carroll. And here is what he has to say.
Kind of mode this time of year, and to that topic. I hope we intend for him to be with us soon. We'd love to figure that out. So we're in a normal kind of mode this time of year, not to that topic yet, specifically because we got some other things going on, but we'd love to have him. Coach, there's no way I can imagine play without him.
What are your
I hope we intend for him to be with us soon. We'd love to figure that out. So we're in a normal.
He's talking about DK Metcalf.
Kind of mode this time of year, not to that topic yet, specifically because we got some other things going on, but we'd love to have him. Coach, there's no.
Okay. He said, hope to have him there. This latest video. And Pete Carroll is certainly excited for his team. Is that those are old? Let's see here. There are notes there that she's put on her website. Brian O'Halloran reports that Coach Carroll said about Drew Lock. Unfortunately for him, his play has come about where there are a lot of turnovers in his game that just doesn't fit with us. We have to fix that and change his mentality to do the things that help him be his best. That to me, when I hear that, when I read that, I think, hey, I'm on the lookout for another quarterback as well that can even be a better fit for us. So got the draft coming up. Free agent still open. Derek Carr is out there. Just saying. All right. Because the Raiders are not giving to me clear signals that Carr is the quarterback of the future. All right. They're equivocating. Pete Carroll and Colin Kaepernick. Our conversations have not progressed since the early connection we made. I watched a bunch of his workouts to kind of keep me up with what's going on. He's really working hard. Coach Carroll says, okay, last thing I'll say on Eminem papacy of the 14th century, or as I like to call it, make bunny ear quote gesture. The what the hell? I have no idea what that is. That was a waste of my time. I'm sorry, folks. 6 notes from his press conference there. 27 minutes ago, there was one video. Seahawks Warriors. They made some notes from that conversation. I'm not going there because I have a feeling that the notes are in front of us. Pete Carroll, 44 minutes ago, said that they had no intention of trading Russell Wilson. Something says, no, it's John Schneider and not Pete Charleston, whatever. Don't know what that's about. And let's keep going here. Pete Carroll has high hopes for Geno Smith. And Nick says, I respect Pete Carroll's ability to see literally anything and everything through rose-colored glasses. I think Geno Smith's main problem, well, he says, hold on a second. Justina Anderson says that Pete Carroll was gushing for about 5 minutes on the return of defensive back Rashad Perry and his 5.6 yard per game average. Thought he really turned the bend toward last season when was a contract negotiation he specifically eyed because he absolutely had to have Rashad Perry back. Okay. And Shout out to the West Palm Beach media for hijacking the Carol presser to ask about Travis Homer, talking about Rashad Perry. And let's see here. We've seen that already before. And said that Rashad Perry will get the first shot at running back, said he earned it. And of course, he has high hopes for Geno Smith. Okay. So we've got the Rams covered. We've got the Niners covered. We got the Seahawks covered. We went over to Brandon Staley yesterday of the Chargers briefly, thinking geographically, of course. Now let's go to Kyle. Arizona Cardinals coach. Let's see here. Cardinals. Cliff Kingsbury here. Cliff Kingsbury. There he is. So saying Cleve Pierce was so hungover. That's messed up. Can we find any meaningful content on Cliff Kingsbury, folks, the Cardinals head coach? Can we find any meaningful content about Cliff Kingsbury? Doesn't look like it. 10 wins. Did he show up at the podium? Maybe he didn't show up at the podium. Maybe he was a no-show, and that's why we're getting this. Maybe he decided to skip meeting with the media. McVeigh, Tomlin, and Kingsbury had a great night out. It was 10 hours ago. Okay. Maybe that explains why we don't see him now. All right. So we don't have any content from Cliff Kingsbury. Okay, so we covered Nathaniel Hackett yesterday. Mike McCarthy is not attending. If you didn't hear that before, he's not there either. Lovie Smith, let's see if he showed up yesterday. So let's go and see what Lovie Smith's comments were from the Texans. The latest, Lovie Smith on overtime rules says there's a defense on the other side of the ball, right? Trying to find a video from yesterday. I love Lovie Smith. He's a decent man, decent person. Let's see here. Okay. Hold on a second. Lovie Smith, we're excited about moving on from Deshaun Watson. That's what he said. According to that, but what I'm looking for right now, folks, are video content items. And I don't see them posted here for quick share with you. Let's see here. A lot of ridiculous takes here. This is that was February 8th. Wow. Okay, so wait a minute. Thought I might have seen something from yesterday. Nope. Okay, don't. That was the latest there. And talks about his beard and life goals. This is from March 28th. And perhaps he too was a no-show. Yeah, maybe he's at the pro days. Because this is 23 hours ago, though. Interesting answer from Lovie Smith when asked if there was a sense of relief when Deshaun Watson was traded. What he says is that, for me, it was there. No matter what we say, it was there. We had one of the best players in football not playing. That's not good for the league. So for him to move on, that has to be good for us. For yes, you want to be talking about Houston Texan football. Now we're able to do that. It's final as you go forward, adding the picks. We know what our future looks like. So as much as anything, just to be able to do that, it's pretty special. We're excited about moving on. There. Let's see here. There he is. Saw the Lovie Smith beard in person. It's majestic. Great. But, folks, little in the way of video. All right? Little in the way of photographs. And, I have to make this comment because I saw it before with Steve Wilkes when he was the coach of the Carolina Panthers. I went to his table. I was one of the only media people at his table at the NFL annual meeting when he was coach back. It was 2018, I believe. And they basically ignored him. And it looks, I'm just saying this from the lack of content about what he said that's on Twitter, that, again, this is an issue. A majority white media ignores black coaches. Okay? You have to have somebody who has a long-term tenure like Mike Tomlin, who's, firmly ensconced as part of the system, right? But when you get coaches who, even though they've been there before, like Lovie Smith, the take was, well, you shouldn't be the head coach. Why? Lovie Smith is a proven, qualified NFC champion coach. He understands how to run football administration as a head coach. A good football administrator can pick the right offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator and special teams coordinator, okay, and support coaching staff. And then set the tone for the organization. That's what Lovie Smith has done at the college level most recently and at the pro level a number of times. Okay? So you're getting a football organizational manager in Lovie Smith on the playing side. You match him with a football organizational manager on the business side and on the off the field side, but still football focused as well. And you've got recipe for a good team. And I think that's what the Texans have. And I'm sold on Davis Mills at quarterback from Stanford. He is a great game manager who does a number of things well. He's not a spectacular athlete like Deshaun Watson, but you don't need that all the time. You need a scheme that can put your athletes in the right position to make plays. Okay. So that rounds out the Texans. And what I'm going to do is, been on about now an hour and 30 minutes. I'm going to go back, gather some more information, come back with some more takes a little bit later. Try to fill in the holes and people I missed. I want to do some more videos on news, like, for example, about Taysom Hill. All right. Subscribe to Zenny62 and bookmark OaklandNewsNow.com. That ends this broadcast.